Hey, everybody. We're back to our old tricks again. We're a couple minutes late, but thank you, everybody, for standing by. And I'll give, as usual, some time for folks to join us. This is, as always, if you're watching on Facebook, and it's Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern live. So if you're catching us on Facebook, get into the comments there. Ask us any questions you might have about anything in the entire universe, and whatever we can answer, we will. And in the meantime, we'll give folks a chance to join us, and I'll just set up my toys on the desk here.
No, I'm not playing with my toys.
Yeah, that's right. No, sir.
Ian says, "Hey guys, I made sure to arrive extra early for that big Amana Man announcement."
And we're off to a great
Yeah,
start.
I mean, look, he doesn't disappoint.
That's it. We laugh because we know Ian from the Regal Robot Fan and Collector Showcase Facebook group. So if you're not in there and you want to also laugh at Ian, you can go there and you can do that. He's slightly Amana Man obsessed, but we get it. That maquette in particular is really cool. It's also huge, but it is a lot of fun. Today we're, speaking of maquettes, going to be talking about our line of replicas from the archive collection here, and in particular this fella who goes live tomorrow. So this one is, I'll move these guys out of the way for right now. This is Ishi Tib, known as Starfish, during pre-production. It was sculpted by Academy Award winner Chris Walas, who I feel very lucky to know. Chris is extremely well known in the effects circles. He has done everything from special effects to directing over the years. His resume includes things like The Fly, Gremlins, the melting faces in Raiders of the Lost Ark, as well as being the guy who helped set up the creature department for Return of the Jedi. And Chris was one of a great handful of really good, really great artists that got to work designing the creatures for Return of the Jedi and doing all of these wonderful three-dimensional maquettes and concepts, these sort of rough sketches in 3 dimensions of these different creatures ahead of time to help George pick which aliens were going to be in the movie.
We have a few people popping in.
Okay.
Gabe is here. Hey, Gabe. Christopher says, "What's going on, guys?" What's up,
happening,
Christopher?
Chris?
John says, "Hi, guys." And Ben Lewitt just says, "My Bib Fortuna signature edition literally just arrived minutes ago."
Nice.
Yeah, cool, man.
So
Enjoy that.
do a live joint unboxing. Yeah. I'll take my Bib Fortuna out. He's up on top now.
And Ian says, Chris's description of what makes a really good Star Wars alien is so good, everyone should watch Tom's interview with him. So,
nice.
Thanks, Ian.
Yeah, Chris is a real old school classic monster maker, and it's funny. So if you go to our YouTube, it's just at Regal Robot on YouTube. There's a nice lengthy conversation with me talking with Chris about all the different things he did for Star Wars. And if you've got a lot of time, you can see the full conversation, which was about an hour long. And that's on the @TomSpina Designs YouTube. You can go there. You can like and subscribe while you're there. And you can find the Chris Walas video. He talks about his time before ILM, how he got there, all the different folks that he knew as part of that process. And we talk a bit about the Raiders stuff. We talk about his work on, I think he was working on Dragon Slayer too at the same time. A lot of the ILM guys were. And yeah, I always love asking these guys, like, what do they think makes a great monster? And Chris did not disappoint with his answer, for sure.
Action
So,
for scale.
yes, that's it. We needed something that everybody our age knew, and it was a 3 3/4 action figure. So yeah, you can see by the action figure how big he is. What's nice is it's a really good scale. It actually reminds me a little bit of Ree's in terms of overall scale and size. you've got sort of the bigger ones, like a couple that Ken Ralston did. There was Weequay, there was Klaatu, that's also this scale. And then you've got some of the smaller ones, like Droopy, I guess, would be one, and then Prune Face, that was the Tom Sanamon sculpt. And I feel like this is a nice middle ground. It's the same base that I think Jar Jar goes on this base. Is somebody else? Might just be Jar Jar.
Yeah.
But that's another way to kind of gauge the scale of it. If anybody has a Jar Jar, that's the same wooden base as that. He's a really cool size. It's a cool sculpt. As I think I started saying before, Chris thinks of this as his favorite design out of the ones he made for the movie. He says that's a real Chris Walas monster. And I see it, if you go and look at, and he said the other thing that was neat is that he didn't go in with an idea for this. He just let the clay tell him what to do. And it's a really neat design when you think of it that way, because I can kind of see, as a sculptor, like where he started to pull things, and then it's like, oh, he probably pulled out these eye stalks, and then from there it's like, oh, I'll balance that out, and you kind of pull these things out, and then the beak comes into shape. But if you look at the way the eye stalks are, they're very similar to what he did on the Gremlins for the first movie, Gremlins. They've got a very similar sort of top of the head and eye stalky thing happening, and that is truly Chris Walas looking. What's interesting is the Gremlin, even with the same eye stalks and this angularity, look, just supremely evil. And this guy looks pretty mellow, And in the movie, of course, they're green, but they turn up in both Jabba's palace. There's one of them who's very animated. If you watch Gabe's video on the Star Wars Replicas YouTube channel, he got a lot of video footage from the movie of him, and he's really like moving around there. And then there's a couple of the same aliens in the background of the Rebel briefing scene. So this is one of the few aliens that's actually a good guy and a bad guy. By the way, this one in front of me, this is not like some paint master or something like that. This is actually one of the production pieces, because the team has been working really hard the last 2 weeks and have gotten almost all of these cast, painted, and ready to ship. So anybody who's ordering tomorrow, if you are paying in full, it's going to ship really quick, probably just a few days. We usually say about a week to be safe, but they're already getting these set with boxes and things like that. So as soon as we know which edition numbers were paid in full, they'll be dropping those in boxes, and you'll be getting shipping notifications right away. Not the usual pre-order that takes, 6 months or a year or something like that. What do we got?
Casper says hello. So, hey, Casper.
Hi, Casper.
Tony says, hey, Tom and Robert,
Tony.
fellow Roboteers.
Oh,
I'm telling you, he's
making
that a thing.
He's going to make it happen, the Roboteer.
Yeah, Tiki Man says, sorry he's late. His job got in the way.
Come on.
I mean, priorities.
Yeah, I guess.
Man. Come on.
Well, he needs the job to pay for the stuff, so let's not talk him out of that.
Ian says, Ken Ralston also did an amazing Ula that I really hope we get one of these days.
The blue one, yeah.
The
sort
blue
of like
as I like to call it.
Oh, no. It goes just a little like down almost to the waist.
It's a cool sculpt.
It is a really neat sculpt, yeah.
Tony also says, super detailed skin texture. You can tell this is a Chris Walas sculpt. Great looking maquette. So, why don't you hold that up?
Zoom it up.
Now let's get that in camera. I should hold him up a little bit closer. There you go. There he is.
So, as always, the lighting in our office is the worst. Just terrible. But hopefully you can see he's got browns and reds and purples, lots of different little layers. There's even some blue hidden underneath some of the shoulder area to give this look of translucent sculpey that Chris must have had when he was working with it. And I love like just the blotches on the back, that rough paint that you would only do on a maquette. And yeah, nice heavy gloss on the eyes. I love the beak on him. Like it's kind of like almost like a half moon kind of thing happening with the chin piece. It really is. It's a lot of complementary forms. It really does. As soon as he said that he made it up in the clay, it just makes sense.
Tony says, Ishii Tib looked out of control in the movie. Was Phil in the suit?
He really is. I never realized he was that animated until I saw Gabe's video really pointing it out.
And Michael says, ready to ship is excellent. Looking forward to it. So, yeah.
Nice. Thanks,
That's
Michael. We should say there are going to be 2 editions, and then we can probably dive into some questions. I'm
Yeah.
sure they're starting to build up. There is both a signature edition, $3.99, comes with the autograph plaque by Chris Walas himself, limited to only 125 pieces, and then the Legacy edition. This is our sketch edition that we've been doing on the last few of these archive collection releases. It is not going to be on every release, but wherever we can do it, we've been bringing in these classic ILM artists and having them do their unique take on whoever that character or prop happens to be. And in this case, Chris went for a slightly cartoony, full color kind of approach. Some of them have the pink skin, some of them have green skin, some are kind of gray, and I think there might even be, I mean, this guy's kind of like mushroom olive kind of color.
There's a good variety.
Yeah.
Even in like the weight of the outline.
Yeah.
It's a good
And
variety.
we'll pull out some more sketches. Mac, why don't I do that while you start asking questions?
Alex
both-
Arnold's here. He says he's late.
Uh-oh.
He's mowing the lawn again.
Nice. Both of these available tomorrow, noon Eastern, on regalrobot.com. By the way, we did not remember to charge our microphones today, so if the sound starts to fizzle out, let us know right away, and we will.
My power light's still on.
Nice. So I'll start pulling some Ishitib sketches out, and why don't
we can zoom into that.
why don't we see if anybody's got questions as I lay these out. I feel like a card dealer. One of the coolest things when we're doing these is when we first get the sketches in from whoever's doing them for that particular edition. It's just always a really neat moment for us opening that box up, because maybe they've sent us a picture or two ahead of time, but really it's our first time looking at them, and it usually causes a lot of people in the shop to start gathering in one place and looking over. We have another one that's in the works after this that the sketches recently came in, and really everybody was like,
they're
"Ooh,
wild."
oh my god!" And like as we turned each one, it was like, "Ooh, ooh."
Barry just popped in. He says, "What's up, Rob and Tom?
Hey,
What's up, Barry?
the OG Barry.
OG, the original,
The
the OB." Tiki Man says, on future releases without a Legacy edition, will you increase the number of signature editions?
It depends on the item, but yeah, that would probably be likely. We would want to balance things out a little bit there.
Alex says, I never get tired of seeing these sketches from all the different artists. Neither do we.
Yeah, it's just
they're
cool,
really cool.
that everybody has their own take too. You know, it's like you don't look at a Phil drawing and think it's a Dave Carson drawing, or a Ken drawing doesn't look like a Chris drawing, even if they're pen and ink and watercolor. It's like it's still.
And it's funny, Ian just said it's cool seeing all different takes on Ishitib's wardrobe too. He did a bunch of variety.
Yeah,
really cool.
there's a range of these that are heads. Some of them are big close-ups. I love the ones where they're kind of jumping in at a fun angle. But yeah, where he did the clothes, he definitely varied it up quite a bit, which is neat. Pardon me.
All right, I have some questions that people asked earlier.
Okay.
Wow. A little bit off topic from the maquettes, but
Okay.
Chazen is asking, is there still a life-size bust planned before the end of this year? And also, how many are we thinking for 2025?
Thinking or doing? Those are two different things. So it's very late in the year. We would not be putting a high-ticket item like that out before the end of the year with the holidays coming and everything like that. And we do still have a few releases before the end of the year. I'm looking at the board, no peeking. But we will not have a life-size bust until into 2025. We have 3 currently that off the top of my head that are in the works. We have a lot of others that we would love to do, and we'll work our way through it. Speaking of life-size busts, I believe our Tusken Raider bust is down to like only 15 pieces left or something, and they're just about to make another handful of those as we get really close to finishing that line out. So if anybody's thought about picking up the Alan Fernandez, the late Alan Fernandez, I should say, signature edition Tusken Raider bust, that's a cool piece. That's one of these pieces.
I was just about to say.
No, what do you got?
You guys see it in person, right?
Man.
I mean, it photographs beautifully, but in person,
nowhere near what it looks like in person.
Even just the scale of it in person is so much better.
The thing that gets me is when I see, so, you know, we have a few of them on the shelf back there, like we have what we call wrap masters for the Tusken Raiders, where it's different stages of the wrapping so that everybody when they're putting the wraps on these things, they match them every single time. So it's like every weave on every one of these is exactly the same, which is impressive. But when I see those out of the corner of my eye in the studio, it feels immediately like seeing them at the archives on the shelves that you walk past in the costume area there. There is a vibe to those original pieces that is really hard to capture, and I'm really proud of what the team did because it feels right. Every time I see it, it's just like, it's one of those things where, you know, we've done other busts and stuff, and we've done masks for years, but like seeing one of those feels like the real thing, and it's pretty cool.
Ian says, any hints about who this awesome new sketches are of?
Not yet.
No, but maybe I'll try and help you out, Ian. I'll see if I can trick Tom into telling us a little bit more.
I can't imagine that would work.
Never. Way too smart. Michael's got a really good question. He wrote, love these about the sketches. When it comes to the sketches, do you give them absolute freedom in what they want to do?
For the most part. You know, there's a few, you know, nothing violent and, you know, some stuff like that. But generally, we, you know, and easy on the mashups, no crossing other properties. Other than that, we just encourage them to do what they feel is interesting, you know, and to entertain themselves, because them entertaining themselves in the first place, making these creatures, is what have us, you know, all actively collecting this line of, you know, this motley crew of monsters here. So,
Ian asks, given the maquette, who made the decision to make the screen version of Ishitib green? Was it also Chris?
I'm going to say no, because at that point, Chris was probably already on another film. Chris was in for the early part of Return of the Jedi. He helped set up the creature shop, the you know, from the old ILM rubber room, they used to call it. And then he did some of the concept work, but he didn't stay on past that. I'm trying to remember, it might have been Tony McVeigh that sculpted the full-size Ishitib, and it probably was Kirk Thatcher who painted it. I know he did a lot of the background aliens. I'll ask around about that. That's actually an interesting question to try and figure out, but it definitely wasn't Chris.
He is also asking, did Ishitib survive the sail barge?
Oh, no. Oh, it got sad in here.
Did. I mean, Max
Sorry,
Rebo
buddy.
apparently did. So.
Don't listen.
Yeah, earmuffs issue.
Yeah, if Max Rebo made it out
Right,
and
yeah.
showed up in Book of Boba Fett, and like he doesn't even have legs.
No, yeah, it's like,
So-
he's slow.
Maybe he and Ishitib like jumped in the organ and he hit a
Ro-
button
they
and like
rolled
it had
out.
like a
Yes.
no, it had like shield that
Oh,
comes
I
up
like
over
that,
top
yeah.
or something, and they just
I like
huddled together.
that. Going
And
back,
then he shows up later in the Rebel briefing as a spy, pretending to be a good guy, and that's
I
why
like it.
he's in both
This
places.
is fan fiction now. I like it.
That's headcanon.
Gosh. Going back to the green Ishi, Craig is asking, because I think he would have liked if the maquette was green. He thinks it would stand out on the shelf more.
It probably, well, I don't know. We've got Baby Yoda, we've got Gamorreans, we've got another Gamorrean. I'm okay with his coloration. I mean, the big thing is with this line, and this is something that, it's funny, our fans, the people in our Facebook group get this already, but with like the general public, like we have to kind of explain to people, this is not just our take on this thing. This is a replica of the original concept for the character. And so we're going to replicate that in terms of color, in terms of texture, in terms of size. Obviously, we're 3D scanning these originals in the archives up at Skywalker Ranch. So He's pink because that's how Chris Walas painted it, and I wouldn't change that. But you're free to buy 2 of them and paint one green if you want, and keep one regular so you can maintain the resale value. It would be neat to see this in like the movie color.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like I wouldn't do it to mine, but like if somebody wants to spend the money and then paint it, that'd be cool to see.
Ben is asking if this is the last maquette release for 2024.
It is the last maquette
Yes,
release
it is.
for 2024.
It is.
We do have 3 other releases going the rest of this year. We'll talk a little more about them as we go. But this is the last maquette.
Parminder is here. What's up, Parminder? He is saying he's been fortunate enough to see the original maquette and mask when some of the archives toured the UK, and we nailed it. So thanks,
thank you.
Parminder. Yeah.
That's excellent. Yeah, I did get to see. I believe they had the mask at one of the Star Wars celebrations prior, but getting to see them at the archives is pretty darn cool. But I know that tour he's talking about, and like they brought a lot of the maquettes out for that. It was really cool.
John is asking, when is Effantman getting released?
That's a great question. We initially were thinking of him as our first for 2025. We may vary that a little bit because we have a few others lined up for next year that may sneak ahead of him. We're always trying to balance out budget for our collectors too and space out the bigger releases so that they kind of give folks a little chance to recover. But my guess is he'll either be, first, second release of next year, maquette-wise.
Gary says, "Happy Indiana Jones Belloc staff price finder outer day." That was a lot of words.
That's a lot. What's the acronym there?
Yeah, too many words.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And just to follow it up, we also have Demetrios asking, "Is there any updates with the Belloc staff?" So how about that?
Yeah. So we do have some updates that will be available on 11/12 of this year. So about a little more than 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's coming up.
It is going to be available 2 ways. One is the Deluxe Signature Edition. Deluxe Signature Edition is the full staff with the metallized top and bottom. The whole thing is weathered as well. The staff just gets very subtle weathering in the edging, just like the real one. The top and bottom get a layer of weathering as well, which we do in the studio right here. That comes with a signature plaque signed by Paul Freeman, the actor who played Belloc in the film. And it comes with, and that comes in a little wood frame that you can either hang on the wall next to the staff, which hangs vertically on a wall and comes with a wall hanger. Or it also comes with a round disc for anyone who buys that signature edition but only wants to display the head. You can actually, you could screw the bottom of the head in and it stands up vertically. It's very similar to the disc that comes with the Shankara Stones. Yeah. So, Deluxe Signature Edition, limited to only 100 pieces, available on 11/12. I would not delay with only 100 pieces. Price for that will be $17.99. And again, that comes with the signature plaque, the full staff, the hanger for the wall, and the extra round base in case you just want to display the head at some point if maybe you're limited on room. The second way that we're offering part of this is just the head with just the round base, and that's a numbered edition. And that will only have a small plaque, no signature, hand numbered on the plaque, and we're going to have that available for 1 full week, the way that we've done our other indie pieces, prop replicas. And the price on that will be $8.99, and that will be available from 11/12 to, I believe, 11/19, which is 1 week, Tuesday to Tuesday. Everybody who orders within that week, we will guarantee you'll get one. And the first 100 people that order the deluxe will get those, and after that, that's it. No more on those. So, and part of that, normally we do these timed editions, but here is a case where we had to get signatures ahead of time, so we had to put a number on it. So that's where the 100 pieces on that big piece comes in.
All right, slightly switching gears here.
Yep.
Craig says he remembers a while back that our license doesn't cover weapons, but isn't the Gamorrean axe a weapon? Could there be a blaster and lightsabers in the future, or is this a fine line between those and the axe?
It is a fine line
Very,
between
very
those and that.
fine.
It is both a fine line and sometimes a moving line. And what it really comes down to is our license. It allows replica artifacts from these movies, and that's a really broad word. The caveat is without stepping on other licensees' toes. So now, when it comes to lightsabers, EFX nails that stuff. We wouldn't even try to get into that as long as they're going with their stuff. When it comes to blasters, that's always a bit of a question in terms of, what the property owners want to put out there when it's things that look like guns and stuff like that. But again, that would be more EFX sort of territory than us. When you get into slightly weirder weapons, gaffy sticks, giant axes made for pig guards and things like that, sometimes there's a little lane for us to find. We're always looking at anything prop-like. We love that stuff. We've got plenty of ideas for that sort of thing, but we do have a little bit of navigating to do. Now with Indy, we're technically, I think, the sole prop licensee right now. So we have a little more leeway with that, although I don't see us ever doing just straight up gun replicas. There's just too many issues with that. And again, you've got to go with what the licensor and the parent companies and all that want to do. But we do have a lot of indie prop type stuff planned, so stay tuned.
Ben's looking for a bunker charge bomb.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool prop.
They're cool. Yeah.
That might be more EFX-y than us.
Yeah, I'm kind of
it's a
feeling
little
that
more
too.
hard-edged. Another good rule of thumb for us is the more organic something seems, the more us that feels. But that's more of an us thing.
John is asking, will we be doing anything for the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith in 2025?
Good question. I didn't even, man, that happened fast, didn't
I'll
it?
say.
You never know. By which I mean, we didn't know.
And then what even more we don't know, Ian replies to that and says, a POW on maquette would be awesome. PAU -AN?
Is that, Ian, you're going to have to tell us who that is.
I have no idea who that is.
Put it in effects person speak.
I'm getting rid of my nerd card for that.
Give me a name that has guy on the end of it, or face, or man, head. Yeah.
Scrolling back a bit.
Yeah.
Alex Arnold. Off topic. That's all. No.
Is it maybe one of the Kaminoans?
I don't know.
Because there's some cool Kaminoans.
Give us a descriptive.
Help us.
of what that guy is.
He's going to pick, no, you know what he's going to pick? It's going to be that Kaminoan maquette that's like this tall.
Giant,
yeah. It's
a Manaman's
He wants it to go with the Manaman. Yeah.
Was that like a Manaman backwards, maybe, he wrote?
Yeah. He tricks us into saying it like
you said you'd do it.
Yeah.
Mixoplex. Alex says, off topic and just throwing this out there, you guys should have a booth or panel at MegaCon. Then we can have a Regal Robot meetup, and it's not during hurricane season.
We'll consider it.
Yes. Alex, if you did a Han Solo blaster, that may get him into Star Wars.
That checks out.
Yeah, he said that's his intro. That's his gateway. Gabe says we need an Ewok spear.
Interesting.
Those are kind of fun.
Yeah.
So Ian says it's those guys with the long teeth who speak with Obi-Wan. Still don't know.
Oh, no. I know who he's talking about. Yeah. With the stripy heads.
The one that
Elsie.
Yes,
makeup.
I saw the cool version of those, not the.
Yeah. Well, not the one from the
the Obi-Wan series.
Yeah. No, I really love that makeup. Yeah,
we
there
can
are
say
some-
that we've scanned that maquette.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some cool maquettes.
Yeah.
We've been
Yeah.
researching the
Yeah,
prequel stuff.
we went
heavily
through the
last few
prequel
trips.
maquettes,
Yeah.
and we've scanned a lot of that, so it's there just in case.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Thank you for clarifying that, by the way.
Yeah, Christopher is saying, any word on a new droid bus? I feel like you ask this every time.
Yeah, he's just trying to get us to say something.
Yeah, he is.
Next.
New. Parminder had a good question. Oh, any more clues for 2025 releases? He needs to know how many raffles he's going to win.
So, in terms of maquettes, I would say you're going to need at least 4 raffle tickets, if not more. How many? At some point we got to figure out how many we did this year. I know I think we said 6. I can't recall.
I think that sounds right.
It's been a good year for the maquette line. So yeah, at least that. There are other things that you're gonna wanna buy a book of raffle tickets.
Yeah,
because you're gonna need them.
Off topic. Indie! Exclamation point. Some previews for the next items? Question mark.
I think the most we can talk about is the Belloc staff that's coming out on 11/12.
Yes.
In 2 editions,
Mhm.
timed edition, numbered edition, and limited signature edition. Don't delay.
Christopher says he usually asks about Cantina Alien Bus.
Oh, all right. That's fair too.
Good switch.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
All right. This is a really good question. It's from Rob D.
Okay, Rob D.
Rob
Yeah,
D. No relation.
None.
Would you consider offering framed sketches for previous release maquettes that didn't have a legacy edition? But wait, I have a follow. I mean, he has a follow-up.
Okay, yeah.
Would you consider releasing these said sketches on November 19th?
So wait, randomly,
I mean, look,
Rob
randomly,
D.
same name as mine,
right?
asking
asks.
a random question with a very specific date.
That's really specific.
I mean,
I'm going to make some room for no reason on my
none at
table
all.
right now with these sketches. So the question I'm going to make sure I have the understanding
Yes, sure.
of Rob D's question.
I can read it back to you.
Not Rob D. Nicola, who's behind our camera.
No.
Just someone named Rob D.
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you read that question again, and I'll
Rob D. No
casually
relation.
just sit here for no reason.
He asks,
Mm-hmm.
would you consider offering framed sketches for previous release maquettes that didn't have a legacy edition?
Okay.
And then his follow-up,
Yeah.
was, would you consider releasing these said sketches on November 19th?
So, I guess we could consider it.
Yeah, I mean,
This guy seems to have inside info.
I mean, it's a good idea.
Did this Rob D get to see the board?
Maybe he did.
Because weirdly enough, on the board right now there's a little drawing actually, and it says 11/19 Legacy Sketches. So all right, I guess the cat's out of the bag just because of the way this guy asked it. So yes, we realize that we have editions that we've done already. Some of them some really great designs by really great designers that did not have a legacy edition. It was before we came up with the idea for the sketch edition, which Rob D had a hand in. And so we've been working on this for a little while to work it out with Disney and Lucasfilm and how this might fit in. And proud to announce that we are going to be doing our first legacy sketches only for Weequay by the great Ken Ralston, action figure for scale. We are doing an edition of 50 only, and I'm going to pull the maquette out of the way because it is literally just the sketches. 50 sets. They are not going to be numbered because we are assuming people who have bought either the numbered edition Weequay or the signature edition Weequay may want to add this to their display. It's going to be $2.99, which is actually $1 cheaper than the difference between a regular Legacy edition and signature edition. And what you will get is what you see right here. It will be the signed plaque. There will be a notation of the limited edition right on the plaque. So in this case, it says limited edition of 50. And the hand-drawn, hand-colored sketch by Ken Ralston. the sketches for this edition are
Wild.
really fun. There's weekways like old men. There's weekways of women, weekways with ponytails, weekways with hats.
Pirate Weekway.
Pirate weekway.
It's fun.
Ken had a lot of fun. Ken, if anybody doesn't know, Ken used to do the crew shirts for ILM back in the day. And so if you ever see like there's crew shirts of like Darth Vader sitting in a hot tub and stuff like that, that's all Ken. So he took all of that humor and all of that energy that he has and obviously his brilliant drawing style, and he put that together with this. So if you happen to have a Weekway already, you can now add this to your display and help balance it out with all your other legacy editions. And if you haven't picked up the Weekway, but this makes you want one, well, then you can pick up one of these, and you can still get the numbered edition Weekway on our site. And it's a good way to add this piece to your collection if you haven't yet. So there we have it. Boy, that Rob D,
Pretty smart.
That was he nailed it. Who was it? Was it Ben Lewitt or Joe Blatz that guessed Ishi Tib about a week
one
before?
of the two, yeah.
That was pretty good, but nowhere near as good as this guy.
Rob was spot on.
Yeah.
We have a few people talking about it.
Okay.
Ian says, I love how Ken incorporates comedic elements into his sketches. Just wait.
Yeah, just wait.
These are wild.
One that looks like Dee Snider from Twisted
yes,
Sister.
it does.
Like, it's really cool.
And we have a lot of people who are requesting other sketches. Max Rebo, a Java sketch coming.
That would be cool.
Yak Face. So we are going to cover as many of these as we can.
So here's how things look on this. The first of anything is a test. If we put this edition out and it sells well, then we're absolutely interested in doing more of them. I love seeing what these guys do with them. And there are still a few people left to tap in terms of this stuff. And we're always exploring that. So let's see how Weekway does. Let's see how many people want to bring one home, and from there we have ideas.
Michael says, are you able to share one word that describes the next maquette after F-Antman? You know what that word's going to be? No.
Yeah, well, no, we can't. It's funny because we actually have to update the board based on what we were
There's
talking
no
about.
board.
But it would either, and here's the thing, could be before F-Antman. We're still finding his place in the world, so don't hold us to anything.
Ben is asking, were there physical maquettes made for Solo or Rogue One?
I would not be surprised if the art department did some of that stuff. It's not stuff that's in the ranch archives, obviously. That would be in the modern sort of Lucas archives. But, I don't know that would rise to the level of popularity that we would need to go in and start something on that. But we're always keeping our eyes open for stuff like that. So
Michael says, my heart stopped when you mentioned another edition. I thought I'd be buying another Weekway maquette.
No.
They wrote, love this, definitely money well spent.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And that's, we're going to ask you guys to keep an eye out when we start announcing this, because we're going to get a lot of fans out there commenting going, oh, you're just doing a re-release. Make sure that if you see people doing that, they know, no, it's just the sketch. This is your chance to plus up the edition you already got. Or if you didn't get him at all, grab one of these and grab the numbered edition Weekway and make your own little legacy edition.
All right, Tony Eversole. We have two Tonys, back-to-back questions too. Tony E and Tony B.
Okay.
Tony says, he was late. Is we getting a sketch release?
So to sum up once again, this person, Rob D, asked a very specific question. On November 19th, we are going to be releasing only the legacy sketch for Weekway, so that folks that got them in the past, they picked up either the signature or the numbered edition, or folks who want to pick up a numbered edition now, go to the site. It's there. Go grab one. You can get the legacy sketch to go with that. It will be a limited edition of just 50 sketches. So I would not delay if you're interested in picking one of these up. And it will be $2.99 which I mentioned before is $1 less than what we normally charge, the difference between the two. I think that's a bargain.
I can tell.
Yeah, that's a deal.
Ben Lewis said he was the one about Ishi Tib who guessed.
Oh, okay, there you go.
You get props.
That's right.
Jason says, did someone say Twisted Sister?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Twisted Sister-ish.
Yeah.
It looks more like an old woman, but Twisted
All
Sister.
right.
But
Well,
so
so
did
did
Dee
Dee
Snider.
Snider, yeah.
You're not wrong. Tony D is said, would a Wampa maquette be a possibility?
So
There's a cool one.
there are a few cool
Yeah.
ones. There's actually a few different ways to go with the Wampa. There is a 50-50 maquette that Howie Weed made when they were doing the special edition costume, and it's a full body. It's one of those wood artist dolls, and half of it looks like a Wampa, and half of it is just the wood artist doll showing the proportions of how an actor would fit in the suit. Howie talks about it in my interview with him on our YouTube page. Go to YouTube, look up @RicoRobot. In addition to that, there are a handful that are not in the archives, but we've got full turnaround photos of. And that's from the art department back in 1978, 79, when they were designing the Wampa originally. I really like some of those. And there's pictures of it with like the Tauntaun maquettes and stuff like that. So it's very tempting for us to look at one of those in the future. Nothing on the schedule, but I love those.
Gabe makes a funny comment that you're not going to understand at all.
Oh, okay.
He wrote, I think Rob D is one of those Costco guys on TikTok. Right over your head. It's all
Yep.
right. It's all right. Michael saying
Gabe's our registered young person. He's on TikTok.
Michael says, will the sketches only be on the Regal website, or will he be able to get them at retailers? Good
That's
question.
a great question.
Yep, really good
In
question.
this case, these are going to be exclusive to the Regal Robot website. There's just not enough of them there for us to do retail, and honestly, it's a question of markup as well. So these will be Regal Robot website exclusives.
Ben is asking, anything involving Dennis Muren other than the hollow chest?
Nothing at the moment, but we love Dennis.
Mhm.
Always great to see him, and I'm always thinking of ways to incorporate our friends into what we're doing. And you know, there's a few people in particular Rob and I are mentally like going
Yes.
back and forth thinking about. So
Touching my heart.
you never know. Yeah.
Fun fact, Dennis really likes Thanksgiving.
Oh gosh.
Any time of the year. John's asking about a Ronto maquette. Any chance of that?
I don't know that there is one. There's.
I kind of feel like there is one.
I think it's technically a prequel maquette,
that
though.
what it
I
is?
feel like
Yeah.
we thought it might be a Ronto, but someone might have been Danny Wagner. Somebody was able to tell us that they didn't think that was a Ronto, for whatever that's worth.
Ian says, any updates on a group hoodie, Rob D?
I don't know. We'll have to wait to see if
You
that
know
guy
what?
asks another question.
I'm going to say it out loud. I think what we need to do is get Ralston to do a group shirt for us. I mean, come on.
with this guy with the
Like,
Roboteer.
yeah, but his style, like old school Creature
Fun.
Crew shirt.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks. First, folks.
Or can we afford him?
I think we could do okay with it. Brenton is asking about the Belloc staff. He must have missed this. How many will be a signature edition? And why don't you give him the price as well?
Yeah, very quickly. Signature edition with Paul Freeman, who played Belloc in the movie. 100 pieces, $17.99. Deluxe, full staff. Like 5 feet long. Comes with a wall hanger. Also comes with a separate base if you just want to display the head. And then separately, we will be doing just the head of the staff, the gold, tall, ram-headed thing. That comes with a wood base and a small numbered plaque. That will be a timed edition available for only 1 week. The head only is $8.99, and the full deluxe staff with signature is $17.99. So there you go. Available 11/12 on the Regal Robot website and possibly on some of our resellers.
Tiki Man is asking, any chance one of next year's ROTJ maquettes will be an unproduced design?
So we don't have one of those on the schedule, but we are constantly looking at them and trying to figure out where we're going to fit some of those in. We have a few ideas about that, and definitely love the unproduced stuff. So I'll just say stay tuned. It's not something that is going to fly under the radar for forever. Those are going to get there.
All right, Anthony asked. He says it's been a while since you've released a new magnet. Can we expect any more from this line?
Well, Anthony, is this? Wait a minute. Is this? No. Like, he just starts using all the employee names.
Rob D asks.
Yeah. It's actually been a little while since we've done anything new in the decor line of our Star Wars line. We have one small decor piece that a wall hangery thing that's going to go up for Black Friday. It's maybe not as shiny and new as some of the other stuff, but I think folks that picked up our Wampa wall bust or our Wampa puppet replicas will love it. But then early next year, Q1, possibly January, February, we have something planned for the magnet line that would be, is it 4 or 5 new magnets at once? Sort of new series.
Yeah, 5 new magnets.
Very proppy, very fun, very us. It's something we had on the list.
It's very collect them all too.
It is, yes.
Which I like about them.
So there's definitely new magnets coming, Anthony. And I'm very suspicious of every question Rob gives me from now on. And Anthony.
Bob D asks.
Yeah.
Robert asks.
Katie asks, wait a minute, what's for lunch today?
Tom S asks.
Yeah. Are you paying for lunch? What? We do have a lot of other decor stuff in the works. So we have actually a few new lines of decor coming next year. Some tabletop stuff, some wall stuff. Like we have, there's even new lines elsewhere too. So
we have a lot of
next year is going to be a fun year.
New stuff too, which is cool.
Yeah.
I am caught up at the moment, so why don't you have a lot to run down.
Yeah, okay. So
let's go.
I'm going to go backwards.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Week way, then go with issue.
Yeah. So 11/19, you've got the release of the Weequay Legacy sketch by Ken Ralston. It is just the sketch in the frame as shown here with the metal plaque. If you did want a Weequay maquette, the numbered edition is available on the site. If you've picked one up before and you want to turn it into a Legacy edition, this is how you do it. And this is the first time we're doing this with one of our previous releases and giving folks the chance to get a beautiful full-color, hand-illustrated, and many of them very funny sketch from Ken Ralston to go with the Weequay that they already own or maybe are picking up off the website. Tomorrow, we have the Ishii-Tib, Chris Wayless editions going live. This, Chris has said, was his favorite design from Return of the Jedi. In the movie, he turned green. I guess he was seasick from the barge. And then wound up in both Jabba's palace, in the barge, also in the Rebel briefing scene. It's a really cool mask. It's gigantic, the final. This maquette is scanned off of the original cast and fully hand-painted here at the studio, solid resin. And these are ready to go. So if you're ordering tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern on regalrobot.com, if you're paying in full, this is going to be shipping out very, very soon, just a matter of days. We're not always, it depends on the piece. Sometimes we have a more staged production. With these, the crew really put their head down and got a whole bunch of them painted and ready to go. There is the Signature Edition at $3.99, comes with Signature Plaque. There is the Legacy Edition at $6.99, comes with a one-of-a-kind, full-color, hand-drawn sketch by Academy Award winner Chris Wayless, Gremlins, Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Fly, Return of the Jedi, so much more. Really great guy. Really fun to listen to in his interviews as well. If you go to the Regal Robot page on YouTube, go like and subscribe, and then go watch a bunch of videos of interviews with all of these great ILM artists that have been so generous with their time and information, and getting on Zooms with us to share and talk about all this stuff they did. And the coolest part of all of that is to be able to tell them how much fans appreciate it. So if you go and watch those videos, leave some comments and, tell us that you appreciate hearing their stories, and let them know, what they did mattered to people. And, all these years later moves us and makes us want to collect this stuff and bring them into our homes.
I think this is a good place to stop.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. We hope we gave you a lot of information. I'm still shocked that this Rob D guy managed to ask such a specific question. Come on to the website tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern. Pick up your Ishitib. Stay tuned for 11:12, where we'll have the Belloc staff. 11:19 when the Weequay sketch comes out, and then Black Friday when we have our little our last release of the year. A little bit of a decor item, something fun for the Wampa fans out there. From myself and Rob D. Wait a minute.
Gotta go, guys. Bye.
See ya.